Prosperity does not reward effort. It responds to alignment. And until you understand this, you will keep chasing what is already yours by divine decree. You will keep asking for what you've already been given. You will keep praying while disobeying. And the law cannot fulfill what your own contradiction delays. I do not speak to the hopeful. I do not speak to those still wondering if this works. I speak now to the one ready to govern their words, command their vibration, and walk as one who already knows they are wealthy by divine right, not by human effort. Prosperity is not personal. It is not emotional. It is not granted by luck, favoritism, or timing. It is not a response to worthiness. It is a response to law. The law is impersonal, exact, unbending, and eternal. It does not listen to your fear. It listens to your word. It does not wait for your feelings. It waits for your obedience. And I tell you now, everything you call lack in your life is not a result of unfairness. It is a result of misalignment. You are not missing money. You are missing rhythm with law. The great failure of humanity is not ignorance. It is contradiction. Most people declare prosperity on Sunday and speak fear on Monday. They affirm abundance for 5 minutes and spend the rest of their day analyzing delays. They write affirmations but live in apology. They know the words but refuse the rhythm. And so they walk in partial results, delayed demonstrations, and unanswered prayers, not because the law is broken, but because their vibration is. But you, if you are still listening, are not here for tricks. You are not here to try something new. You are here to obey. You are here to align. You are here because the spirit within you is done living beneath divine inheritance. You are here because the part of you that remembers your true wealth has risen to the surface and refused to bow to appearances another day. You are not waiting for prosperity. Prosperity is waiting for you. It is not hiding behind closed doors. It is encoded into law, released the moment you walk in alignment with it. And until you live that truth, your effort will be wasted. Your striving will be endless. Your mind will be filled with information, but no demonstration. Because the law does not move by knowledge, it moves by obedience. There are 7 divine laws of prosperity, not theories, not guidelines, not suggestions, laws. And these laws are not hidden. They are not secret. They are not reserved for the elite. They are written into the very fabric of spirit. They are activated the moment you surrender your contradictions and take your place as a spiritual authority. They are ignored by 99% of the world, and therefore 99% of the world remains in struggle, delay, and confusion. But those who live by these laws, those who speak in rhythm with divine vibration, those who command instead of beg, they become living proof. I do not tell you this to inspire you. I tell you this because I am a witness to the law. I have seen it operate in silence and in sound, in wealth and in recovery, in loss and in overflow. I have seen the same law that appeared to delay deliver overnight, because one decree was made in the rhythm of faith. I have seen the heavens bend toward the voice of one who dared to speak what they did not see. And I have seen struggle vanish the moment a soul ceased to explain and began to command. You must understand this now. Every delay you face is not a denial. It is a mirror. And what it reflects is your agreement. Your agreement with fear. Your agreement with time. Your agreement with limitation. You say, I've done the work. But have you spoken the law? Have you declared from your seat of spiritual authority or from the posture of someone still hoping to be chosen? You say, I've affirmed my wealth. But do you cancel those affirmations with casual complaints, with quiet sarcasm, with worried tones you think the universe does not hear? The law does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you keep saying. And until your tongue comes into rhythm with the truth, your life cannot. Prosperity is not about thinking rich. It is about speaking in law. It is about vibrating in harmony with the already finished nature of spiritual supply. God has never delayed your provision. The moment you called it, it was dispatched. But the rhythm of your words either pulls it closer or pushes it away. The law is always moving, but it only moves in the direction of decree. Not doubt, not analysis, not hope. Decree. You do not need another strategy. You do not need another vision board. You do not need more effort. What you need is obedience. What you need is to take the words you speak seriously enough to treat them as law, because that is what they are. Every sentence you repeat becomes architecture. Every word becomes blueprint. Every vibration becomes instruction. And the substance of your life is only following what you said. I tell you plainly, you cannot beg and command in the same breath. You cannot complain and call forth. You cannot curse one moment and create the next. The tongue is a gate, and what comes through it will either build or destroy. And so I ask you, what rhythm has your mouth been obeying? What sequence have you rehearsed daily? Because your current experience is only echoing the frequency you authorized. There are 7 divine laws, 7 activators, 7 frequencies, 7 doors, 7 switches, 7 forces of command. They do not respond to emotion. They do not wait for good days. They respond only to spiritual instruction. And when you speak in their rhythm, obey in their sequence, and refuse to contradict them with fear, the flow cannot be denied. You will not need to chase. You will not need to fix. You will not need to beg. The vault opens not because you are worthy, but because you are aligned. I do not offer you these laws as options. I declare them to you now as spiritual protocols. They are not something to try. They are something to become. You must stop acting as though prosperity is an exception. It is not. It is the rule of divine order. And if you are not walking in it, you are breaking the law that governs it. You are not here to play with these truths. You are here to enforce them. You are not here to recite them once and wait. You are here to embody them until your life mirrors what heaven already settled. And so I speak now to the part of you that knows how to obey. Not the part that debates, not the part that delays, the part that remembers you were created to command. This is not the hour for guessing. This is not the hour for testing the waters. This is the hour to walk in law or remain in lack. This is the hour to declare until your nervous system submits. This is the hour to vibrate at the frequency of covenant, not crisis. You are not here to survive. You are here to reign. And reigning begins with speech. These 7 laws will not reward you for knowledge. They will not bless your hope. They will not honor your effort. They will obey your word, your spoken, consistent, unwavering word. And if you will speak it, if you will obey it, if you will repeat it until rhythm overtakes reason, the wealth assigned to you must obey. I speak this as a prophet of law, not a preacher of ideas. These are not affirmations to feel better. These are decrees to realign the unseen. You have 7 laws before you now. 7 keys, 7 codes, 7 spiritual weapons. Use them, obey them, and do not turn back. In part 2, I will speak the first 2 laws aloud. When you hear them, do not listen passively. Stand up, repeat them, command them into your bones. Because the moment you speak in rhythm with the first law, the second one will rush in behind it. And the moment both are in motion, you will feel it. The invisible turning in your favor. Not because you begged, but because you finally obeyed. Come ready, speak loud, and align without apology. You are not the 99%. You are the remnant that rules by law. I begin with the first gate, the first law, the first act of spiritual government, the law of the spoken word. This is not the law of intention, not the law of belief, not even the law of desire. It is the law of the word, spoken aloud, structured in rhythm, sealed in vibration. Until you speak as law, nothing can form as law. You are not rewarded for how much you want. You are not rewarded for how well you hope. You are rewarded for how lawfully you speak. When I say spoken word, I do not mean positive thinking. I do not mean random affirmations. I mean divine command. The law is not listening to your feelings. The law is listening to your decree. And when your decree is weak, your reality reflects that weakness. When your decree is confused, your life fragments. When your decree is rooted in fear, the channels of your provision obey the wrong master. You are not broke. You are simply repeating a phrase that law must obey. You are not delayed. You are simply vibrating out of rhythm with the appointed hour. And nothing spiritual can disobey the voice that called it. Hear me now. Your words are not poetry. They are legal filings in the courts of spirit. They are instructions, not expressions. And until you treat them that way, you will keep receiving results that contradict your desire. You may want abundance, you may feel ready, but if your speech still reflects fear, sarcasm, apology, doubt, delay, or contradiction, then the law cannot move. It is not cruel, it is coded. Every time you say, "This always happens to me," the law records it. Every time you say, "I'm never caught up," the law obeys it. Every time you say, "I'm trying my best, but nothing changes," the law does not evaluate your effort. It mirrors your phrasing. And so I tell you now, with fire in my voice, stop begging. Stop reporting. Stop explaining. Start speaking. If you say, "I command divine substance to meet me now," the spiritual machinery begins to move. If you say, "My supply is unlimited and unfolds by grace," then the appearance of delay cannot hold. If you say, "I am the authorized vessel of divine abundance," then no personality, system, job, or market can deny your provision. But you must say it aloud. You must say it repeatedly. You must say it without apology. The law does not yield to the loudest fear. It yields to the most consistent decree. You are not here to explain what you see. You are here to declare what shall be. That is the role of your voice. That is the duty of your tongue. And if you still think you can keep it real while also speaking wealth, you do not yet understand law. Keeping it real is how people stay poor. Telling it like it is how people keep rebuilding what should have died. Your speech is a throne. Do not use it for confession. Use it for command. This is your new spiritual hygiene. Do not joke about being broke. Do not say, "I can't afford that," even in jest. Do not release phrases like "money doesn't grow on trees" or "easy come, easy go." These are not harmless habits. These are frequencies. And frequencies are contracts. Every word you speak becomes a signature in spirit, and spirit never misfiles what you say. So you must build new declarations, and you must build them with rhythm. You must speak every morning before the world speaks to you. You must override your subconscious before it replays the old agreement. And you must do it until your nervous system obeys. Not because you're convincing yourself, but because the law is waiting for consistency, not drama. Say this now: "My word is my seed. My tongue builds my wealth, my decree creates my world. Say it again, say it until it echoes, say it like you mean to live by it, because you will. Or you will live by contradiction. The second law, the law of divine timing. This law is misunderstood because it does not move when you expect it to. But hear me clearly. Divine timing is not delay, it is arrangement. It is not passivity, it is orchestration. It is not a lack of motion, it is a perfect unfolding. The law of divine timing demands that you surrender the urge to rush what is already appointed. It demands that you release your obsession with comparison, urgency, or panic. It does not honor the one who tries harder. It honors the one who aligns without force. What is yours cannot be taken, but it can be delayed if you attempt to carry it before you're built to hold it. And law will not authorize release into chaos. Spirit will not deliver wealth into a vessel still trained in fear. That is not punishment. That is divine protection. What looks like waiting is often calibration. You must stop calling it stuck when it is actually set up. You must stop accusing the universe of silence when it is actually perfecting the sequence. And you must stop trying to create your own timing. You do not manufacture divine appointments, you match them. This law demands that you speak not only for supply, but for sequence. Declare, my prosperity arrives in perfect order. Declare, there are no delays in divine mind. Declare, I do not chase, I align. And then act like you believe it. Move as one who trusts. Prepare as one who expects. Walk as one already seated at the appointed table. Because the moment you speak in rhythm with divine timing, time bends. This law is violated every day by those who speak truth in the morning and fear by night. They cancel their decree before it delivers. They plant a seed and dig it up because they grew impatient. But I tell you now, nothing spiritual is late. Everything divine is right on time, but only to the one who stays in rhythm. The law delivers by rhythm, not urgency. If you ask today, declare tomorrow, and doubt by Wednesday, your vibration collapses the cycle. And it must begin again. You must become unwavering, not dramatic, not desperate, unwavering. Divine timing is not passive waiting. It is active agreement. It is preparing the table before the food arrives. It is making room for the miracle before the door opens. And it is refusing to speak against what you already called forth. Say this now, the timing of heaven governs my life. I do not rush, I do not retreat, I walk in rhythm. Say it until your cells obey. Say it until your emotions stabilize. Say it until the gate swings open, not because you knocked harder, but because you stood in the right frequency long enough for law to recognize you. This is not hoping. This is ruling. This is what the 1% do without even understanding why it works. But you now understand. You have heard the law, and therefore you are now bound to it. In the next part, I will speak the next 2 laws. Laws that deal not with what you say, but with how you respond. Laws that govern resistance and replacement. Laws that determine whether your heart is a magnet or a blockade. And if you dare to obey those, the current of your supply will flow without hindrance. But for now, your work is clear. Obey the first law. Speak only what you want multiplied. Obey the second. Trust the rhythm more than the result. Speak, wait, command, repeat. Comment below to seal this in the invisible. I speak in rhythm. I wait in power. I cannot be denied. Let heaven record it. Let law respond. Let your alignment be documented. And when you rise tomorrow, start again. Not as ritual, but as rhythm. Speak not to beg, but to authorize. Wait not to suffer, but to align. Because now you know, delay is not denial. It is misalignment, and alignment begins with the voice. I now speak to the gatekeepers within you, the parts that silently block your wealth while pretending to want it. And to those parts, I release this command: let go. Because the next law will not work if you still fight shadows. The third divine law is the law of non-resistance, and it is broken by nearly every soul who says they want to be rich. Because most people do not resist money, they resist everything around it. They resent the bills. They hate the wealthy. They curse the system. They complain about prices, taxes, salaries, inflation. They speak against what they say they want. And then they wonder why flow is constricted. But I tell you this with the clarity of spiritual precision. What you resist, you magnetize. What you bless, you release. What you attack, you give power to. And what you bless, you dissolve. You cannot receive what you resent. You cannot rise in a system you constantly criticize. You cannot step into abundance while still nursing bitterness toward those who already have it. Every complaint you make against the rich confirms to your subconscious that wealth is unsafe. Every sarcastic remark, every whispered judgment, every eye roll at success reinforces a spiritual equation that says, I do not belong there. And the law listens. This is not about agreeing with injustice. It is about refusing to anchor your vibration to it. Resistance is not righteousness. It is spiritual friction. And friction blocks flow. You must stop being emotionally loyal to what you say you want to transcend. You must stop revisiting the story of lack like a shrine. You must stop reacting to every trigger of not enough like it's your identity. Because the law does not distinguish between your words and your resentments. It receives both as instruction. Non-resistance is not weakness. It is mastery. It is the act of refusing to fight what no longer matches your frequency. You do not battle scarcity. You rise above it. You do not argue with old memories. You release them. You do not fix the past. You outgrow it. Say this now. I release all resistance to wealth. I bless the flow. I trust divine order. Say it until your body softens. Say it until your breath slows. Say it until the battle ends, not because you won, but because there is no battle left. Forgiveness is part of this law. If you are holding grudges, you are blocking your own supply. If you are tethered to betrayal, to shame, to regret, you are spiritually linked to a vibration too low to carry wealth. You must cut the cord, not for their sake, for yours, not because they deserve peace, but because you do. Bless them and be free. Release them and be full. Forgive them and be restored. You cannot bring new substance into a vessel still echoing old resentments. You must empty to receive. Now we move into the fourth law, the law of substitution. If the law of non-resistance cleansed the space, the law of substitution reprograms it. Because once you've released the old pattern, you must install a new one, or the void will fill itself with whatever fear finds you first. This law is precise. It says you cannot hold two thoughts at once. You cannot vibrate in fear and faith simultaneously. You cannot repeat an affirmation in the morning and rehearse the opposite belief all day. The moment a lie enters, it must be replaced. Not argued with, not explained, replaced. The enemy of your wealth is not the loud voice of lack. It is the subtle repetition of it. The thoughts that pass quietly, the phrases you've heard since childhood, the whispers that say, "This won't last, I always ruin it, I'm not good with money." These are not passing thoughts. They are frequencies, and they train the law to treat you as unstable. But you can override them. You must. When fear enters, replace it. When sarcasm arises, replace it. When the old rhythm plays, replace it. Not someday, immediately. Not silently, out loud. You must make the new thought dominant. You must build the new pattern with volume, clarity, and rhythm. Say this now. It is working for me now, whether seen or unseen. When the doubt says, this is taking too long, say, I am right on time with divine order. When the worry says, I never have enough, say, my supply is infinite and now unfolds with ease. You are not trying to be positive. You are commanding the law to shift resonance. This is divine obedience, not mental gymnastics. This is the spiritual act of replacing every fear-coded thought with a decree that cannot be ignored. The law is not judging your mind. It is responding to what you repeat. And so you must substitute constantly, rhythmically, faithfully, until the old voice fades, not because you fought it, but because you no longer agree with it. Agreement is what sustains beliefs. And if you no longer agree with the old rhythm, it must dissolve. Your mind is not a mystery. It is programmable, and it is listening. Your words are installing new truth, whether you mean them or not. So mean them, speak them, anchor them. And when fear gets louder, make truth thunder. Say, I substitute every thought of fear with a law of wealth. Say, my default rhythm is divine increase. Say, I do not manage old thoughts, I replace them. Say it until your mouth obeys. Say it until your mind forgets how to speak lack. Say it until you become the law you've been quoting. You are no longer someone who tries. You are someone who obeys. These laws are not your experiment. They are your assignment. And now that you've heard them, you are responsible to them. Non-resistance opens the gate. Substitution rewires the command center. Together, they determine whether the supply already dispatched to you can find a landing. Do not ignore this part. This is where most people fail, not in asking, but in responding. Not in declaring, but in contradicting. They are excited for a day, then fearful the next. They plant a word, then dig it up with sarcasm. They try, then talk themselves out of it. But you, if you are still listening, have crossed into a higher current. You are not casual. You are not flippant. You are not hoping for the best. You are commanding from alignment. And in the next part, we enter deeper territory. We move from external response to internal rhythm. We activate the laws of vibration and expectation, two codes that decide whether your body and mind become magnets or blind spots. But before we go there, you must prove yourself here. Seal this part in your body by speaking aloud. I resist nothing. I replace everything. I am the new frequency now. Comment it, declare it, stamp it into your atmosphere. Because obedience is not passive, it is speech, it is rhythm, and it begins again now. Now that you have learned to stop resisting, now that your mouth no longer lends power to the old pattern, I bring you deeper into the frequency that surrounds every word you speak and the silent command that governs whether it manifests. These next two laws do not wait for your personality. They do not wait for your beliefs. They scan your atmosphere and respond only to what you carry. The fifth divine law is the law of vibration. This law is not metaphor. It is physics. It is not philosophy. It is structure. Every thought you think, every word you speak, every emotion you hold emits a frequency. And that frequency becomes your spiritual address. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you vibrate. This is why people say the right affirmations but still walk in delay. Because the words are present, but the frequency is polluted. They declare wealth, but vibrate in worry. They affirm prosperity, but their nervous system still trembles in disbelief. They speak truth aloud, but hum fear beneath their breath. And the law always answers the dominant tone. Hear me clearly. Vibration is the hidden decree. It is the word beneath the word. It is the music behind your sentence. It is what the law uses to decide whether your spoken instruction is official or a contradiction. You do not need to feel good to manifest, but you must stabilize your internal atmosphere. You must become rhythmically aligned with the reality you are calling. You must stop living in a body that expects suffering and wondering why the law delays your harvest. Your body is your vibration, and your vibration never lies. Say this now. I feel rich now, not someday. Say it until your shoulders drop. Say it until your breath slows. Say it until your spine straightens with spiritual authority. Not because you're pretending, but because you are overriding a system that has forgotten how to feel safe in abundance. You must train your body to stop panicking when overflow shows up. You must train your chest to stop tightening when supply increases. You must stop vibrating in survival when heaven is offering sovereignty. You must walk in a room and let your presence announce your frequency, not your resume, not your hustle, not your performance, your vibration. Vibration is how the law finds you. Vibration is what makes the invisible visible. Vibration is not optional, it is always happening, and until you command it, it will replay the frequency of your upbringing, your culture, your trauma, your fear. But now you know, and once you know, you must reprogram. Speak aloud, I vibrate in harmony with divine wealth. Say it when you wake, say it when you fear. Say it until every muscle becomes an instrument tuned to heaven's pitch. Say it until nothing can stay that doesn't match it. And now the sixth law, the law of expectation. This is the law most people violate with a smile, because they say the words, they post the quotes, they wear the crystals, but they do not expect anything to change. They ask, but they do not prepare. They affirm, but they still plan for failure. They quote scripture, but they still double-check their backup plan every night before bed. Expectation is the true proof of belief. Expectation is the readiness of the soul. And the law does not obey what you say in front of others. It obeys what you privately prepare for. You do not say, I hope it comes. You say, it is already in motion. You do not say, maybe this is the year. You say, this is the hour of demonstration. You do not say, if it's meant to be, it will happen. You say, because I aligned, it must. Expectation is the spiritual doorknob. It is how you signal that you are ready to host the supply you spoke. And without it, the law waits, not as punishment, but as protection. Spirit will not flood an unready system. Spirit will not overflow a soul still prepared to panic. You must speak as one who expects. You must walk as one who expects. You must eat, spend, move, decide as one who already knows the answer is yes. Say this now. Today, divine substance rushes to meet me. Say it with no theatrics. Say it as fact. Because spiritual law is not waiting for enthusiasm, it is waiting for authority. Expectation is what moves the decree from idea to arrival. Without it, your sentence hangs in the air with no gravity. With it, your sentence begins building form before your eyes. You will see things shift, not because you're lucky, but because the law recognized the signal. You cannot expect and doubt simultaneously. You must decide which frequency is your home. Doubt prepares for denial. Expectation prepares for delivery. And the law follows your preparation. So ask yourself, what does your environment say you're expecting? What does your tone, your pace, your rituals say about what you believe is coming? If you are still planning for delay, do not call yourself faithful. If you are still bracing for disappointment, do not say you're in alignment. The law is too precise for performance. Expectation must become your posture. You expect when you open the email. You expect when the phone rings. You expect when you invest, when you speak, when you sit in stillness. You do not look for confirmation. You are the confirmation. Say this now. Because I expect, it must arrive. Say it until your decisions change. Say it until your plans stretch. Say it until you stop tolerating what doesn't match the answer you've already received in spirit. Vibration governs what you attract. Expectation governs whether you can hold it. Together, they create the field into which manifestation can land. And you must not speak another word about wealth until these two laws are vibrating in your bones. You are no longer an observer of truth. You are a carrier of it. You are no longer studying prosperity. You are becoming it. And in the final part, I will reveal the last law, the law of return. The law that seals your rhythm, the law that multiplies everything you send, the law that answers your obedience with overflow. But for now, you must seal these two within yourself. Speak aloud, I feel wealthy, I expect wealth, I am the frequency of arrival. Say it without emotion. Say it as law. Because the 99% beg, perform, wait, but the 1% obey. And because you obey, you are already becoming what they still dream about. Now I give you the final law, the law that proves whether you believe what you say, the law that reveals whether your rhythm is ritual or reality, the law that answers every declaration with multiplication. This is the law of return. This is not karma. This is not balance. This is not cosmic fairness. This is structure. This is response. This is the magnetic principle by which spirit echoes everything you send. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. Everything you send comes back. Everything, every word, every emotion, every act, every gift, every vibration, every resentment, every tithe, every complaint, every praise. Nothing you emit returns void. The law does not discard signal, it multiplies it. So I ask you, what have you been multiplying? What have you been planting? What has your tongue been launching into the field? What has your fear been broadcasting? What has your giving been coated with, faith or fear? Praise or panic? When you give, the universe does not listen to the amount, it listens to the tone. When you circulate money, law does not record the transaction. It records the command that went with it. I guess this is all I have, and this multiplies in divine rhythm are not the same act. One confirms lack. One activates law. You must speak as you release. You must assign your seed. You must instruct your circulation. You must declare every exit point has a return path. If you do not speak over what leaves, it will not know how to find you again. Say this now. Everything I give returns multiplied. Say, I do not spend, I sow. Say, my circulation is my confirmation of trust. Say it until your body stops tensing when you release. Say it until your nervous system no longer associates obedience with loss. The law of return does not wait for emotion, it responds to rhythm. Rhythm is what converts obedience into demonstration. This is why I told you, speak daily, release daily, expect daily. It is not about effort, it is about alignment. It is not about emotion, it is about frequency. The rhythm becomes the ritual, and the ritual becomes the proof. Now I give you your structure. This is not a suggestion. This is a protocol. You will obey this for 7 days. Not because 7 is lucky, because 7 is law. 7 is divine completion. 7 is covenant. Every morning you speak, you do not scroll. You do not wait to feel it. You do not check the world. You command it. First thing, before fear finds you, you rise and say, I speak wealth into form. At midday, you substitute. You will find the lie. You will name it. You will override it not with thought, but decree. You do not let it linger. You do not let it mutate. You say, my good cannot be withheld, and you move forward as if you meant it. At night, you seal. You close the rhythm. You prepare the return. You do not review your day in lack. You do not lie in bed reliving fear. You say, because I align today, I must receive tomorrow. And you let that sentence lead you into sleep. Every day you give something, a word, a tithe, a blessing, an offering, a seed, a whisper of praise, but not in silence. You speak it as you release it. This returns to me multiplied under grace. You never give again in silence. That season is over. You are not casual. You are not guessing. You are not watching YouTube videos and hoping for a sign. You are the sign. You are the demonstration. You are the one the law was waiting to hear from. And now that you've spoken, now that you've aligned, now that you've obeyed, nothing can withhold your flow. I do not need to convince you. The law will confirm you. If you obey these 7 laws, if you commit for 7 days, if you do not contradict what you plant, if you do not collapse what you command, if you do not second-guess what you have already released, then the vault will open, the form will shift, the channels will obey. Not because of magic, not because of luck, because law cannot break itself. Now say each law aloud, not as memory, but as authority. Not as a student, but as a sovereign. Say, Law 1, my words are my wealth. Law 2, my timing is perfect. Law 3, I resist nothing. Law 4, I replace every lie with truth. Law 5, I vibrate in divine wealth. Law 6, I expect daily. Law 7, my giving return multiplied. Say them again. Not as noise, but as contract. Not as habit, but as rhythm. Let heaven record your voice. Let the law match your tone. And now, seal it. Say, because I obey law, I cannot be denied prosperity. Say it again. Say it like you are done living by accident. Say it like you are tired of delay. Say it like you are the one that abundance cannot ignore. You are no longer reading. You are no longer watching. You are no longer rehearsing. You are demonstrating. And if this word entered you like thunder, then make your obedience public. Go to the comments and write, I obey all 7 laws. Or choose one and declare it. Let your decree echo beyond your mouth. Let the law find your covenant in the atmosphere. This is no longer about information. This is about initiation. And when you return tomorrow, you do not come as a student. You return as a vessel of divine order. Speak, seal, walk on, because the 99% still hope. But you now obey.